Have you ever deleted only to figure out that there is no backup? Have I ever done that? I've never deleted anything prematurely, but when I worked for a company in England, it was pretty much my first proper enterprise grade job. I did get a customer ask me to go into, essentially they had a domain in Plesk and they wanted to add a subdomain that went to that domain. And so I didn't know how to do that, so I spoke to a senior engineer who'd been at the company for 8 years. And he said, you do this, this, and this. And he showed me how to do it, and I was like, great. So we did this, this, and this. Plesk proceeded to delete the website that was 10 years old. Had 10 years worth of work on it, graphics, for games, for all kinds of stuff. And the end result was, by the way, this was at 8 o'clock at night, which is obviously only a few hours away from midnight. Okay. And midnight was when it was something like Call of Duty or some game was going live. He just basically was like, oh, well, I didn't expect that to happen. Well, I've finished. And so he left. And so this poor customer and I had to spend about 3.5 hours frantically looking around for backups of the website. He had to call his developer. This was Christmas Eve. Was it Christmas Eve? No, it wasn't quite Christmas Eve. It was like December 20th or something. So the developer, this PHP dev guy, had to be woken up at night, probably at home with his family. He charged them a fortune. He charged them, it was like £150 an hour or something. He was furious. He had to go and dig out backups. And the end result was calling also the graphic designer to get about 8 years worth of graphics exported again and dumped. We got the website up and running again, and he managed to sell the game. And it was one of the biggest sales of his year, but he was not happy, and we did not have backups for that customer. So I haven't purposely gone out to I haven't actually gone out to delete something on purpose, but I have been involved in a situation where a lot of data was deleted and there were no backups. So that was fun. It's a good way to start your career. Additionally, there are many ways of mitigating the impact of unintentional deletions. You can enable versioning on cloud storage buckets. Yeah, that's right. You can configure automated backups. It's like AWS backups, for example. You can restrict access so that only a few people can delete things. I mean, that's pretty much a given, really. I mean, who's not doing that, right? Many databases have additional data recovery features, such as time travel, allowing you to go back in time to run queries as of the time before data had been deleted. Okay, so Snowflake, Databricks, BigQuery. Okay, that's interesting. What I would say as well is, could you also deleting data in this day and age? I mean, unless you're at a scale of data that's just insane, isn't something that a lot of organizations actually need to do. You could just go into Glacier, S3 Glacier, and you could just literally just put it on ice, super dirt cheap. You could download it, put it on some external hard drives or tape drives or something. And also as well, when it comes to actually deleting data, one thing most organizations don't do is they don't codify that process. And I just think if you're going to delete data, and let's use an S3 bucket as an example. If you've got data in an S3 bucket, images, videos, whatever it is, and you come to the conclusion that yeah, okay, we need to delete that. If you do that operation, there's several ways you can do it. You can go to the web UI, you can use the AWS CLI tool. Ideally, you'll have built that bucket in infrastructure as code, but let's assume that you haven't done that because most organizations aren't at that stage yet. How would you go about deleting it? You can use, like I said, you can use the web UI or the CLI tool. I'd say that if you actually just wrote a very, very small Python script in Boto, okay, with a CI file for GitLab CI right next to it, you hard coded the bucket name in, and then you push that and you made sure that the pipeline was manually gated. If you then push that to a repository, that could then be code reviewed by someone. And so someone else could actually then look at that and go, that's the script that's going to execute. If you've got the right bucket, is that the data that we want to delete, and so on and so forth. And then if that then gets approved, right? If that then gets approved, you then merge into the main branch. The main branch then runs, and then you can either go in and manually run that pipeline, which then runs your Python script for you, which then deletes the data. And then the repository doesn't cost anything. The repository is a few kilobytes of data. You can just leave it there. You can leave the pipeline there with all its logs there, etc. You wouldn't even need to set up a private runner for that at all. You could actually just use one of GitLab's shared runners. You get something like 2,000 minutes a month per project. So you could just easily just use a shared runner with a Python Docker image. With Botto installed, you just do pip install Botto. You can use CI variables to handle the AWS interaction, and then you can delete those variables after you're done. But what you end up with is an audit log of what happened, who deleted what, who code reviewed it, who pushed it through. It seems extreme, but I just feel that accidentally deleting data is just something that I find just should be so avoidable in this day and age. But yeah, I agree that backups are definitely something that we need to be definitely be better at.